Hey people, welcome back. Just a quick one, see if we can squeeze one more build in before Halloween, which is 4 days, 3 days? Yeah, anyway. How's about making a spooky eyeball? So, flip it around, let's get into it. It's only going to be a quick one. It's a bit of fun. Welcome back. Frankie's joined us. She's going to make an eyeball as well. Should we make an eyeball? Yeah. Right, so the eyeball. Don't know how good that's going to focus. But basically what I started using was cheap ping pong balls, hot melt glue, the cheap 2-part epoxy resin, and a bit of paint. And that was it. Painted the eyeball on, used a little circle stencil just to draw around the iris, and then the centre black was just a marker pen. But then lo and behold, I found then in a local cheap store Halloween eyeballs already painted with the stickers really. So they're a little bit smaller than the golf balls, but I'll do one of each for you to see anyway. This is one without the glaze on, without the 2-part epoxy, and just add some paint on the glue. So anyway, let's stop talking, let's get into it. So all I'm going to do is I'll do one of the shop made ones first. I'm just going to spread some glue out, make a stringy, wait for it to dry, paint it, mix the epoxy up, tip the epoxy on, and leave that dry. That's it. So let's get into it. Right, that's all I'm going to do is I'm just using one of the shop eyes. Got my hot melt glue. I'm going to dab a bit of glue on, stick him. I got a bit of plastic. It's an old box Tupperware container. It's just plastic, so it won't stick. Bunk him on, and then just dribble some glue. Let's see if we can get going. There we go. You can use clear glue sticks for this. You haven't got to use white. I'm just using white because that's what I got. So I'm not going to go straight. I'm just going to sort of zigzag a little bit. And then when I want to go stringy, just stop squeezing, just pull the glue off. Them little bits of string, that's what you want. Obviously if you go too close with the hot melt, it'll just melt into each other. So string it off, pull it, and then that needs to dry or start to set up. So we'll come back when we've got one set up. All you're going to do then is once you've pried him off your plastic base, is you're just going to stick glue around and just make it look like a optic nerve. If you don't know what an optic nerve looks like, you can look it up on Google. I'm just going with what I think looks a bit spooky. I'm trying to get some bits that are gonna hang off and stringy looking. And what I do as well is I'm going to put a blob and then pull the string up over the eye and then back on itself, just to make it look like it's been torn out of the eye as well. But just have fun with it. It doesn't got to be anatomically correct. You're having a bit of fun. You're spooking about. See all this webbing? That's good. You want that, because the paint will take onto that and it'll look like sinews. And so you get the idea. Basically I'm gonna carry on with that, working way round, and then we'll come back and we do a bit of painting. I got a little bit of red and a little bit of blue on my palette. The glue is gone. So as you can see, it's nice and stringy, and So that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to be fussy. I'm just going to dab the red. I don't like the red on these cheap eyes, but there you are. It is what it is. So I'm just going to paint them up. I'm not going to be too fussy. Going to dab all in there. Can you see that? All the stringy bits. Get all them. See, instantly you can see now them stringy bits are looking sinewy. And when the red dries, we'll go back over them with a little bit of blue just on these fine strings, just to give them that a blue veiny look. And the thicker with this poster paint anyway that you go, the better, because it holds a deeper red. So I'll paint that through now all red, and then I'll dry him off. Top tip, if you are going to dry it with a hairdryer or a heat gun, remember that it's hot melt glue. So if you get it too hot, either the plastic bowl will melt or the hot melt glue will start to melt and run off, which you don't want, which has happened to me. And to show you, even I make mistakes. Look at the shape on that eye, because I went too long with a heat gun. So anyway, I'll paint this up, come back, show a bit of blue, and then we can glaze it. There's the red. Like I said, I haven't been too fussy. I've splattered it about. It's been ripped out to somebody's head, so it ain't going to be all nice and neat. And then I'm just going to go in with some blue. A bit of glue on it. And just lightly go over some of the strings. Just for them to look a bit veiny. You can go into some of the darker areas as well. And if you've got a little bit of the red is still a bit wet, like some of this is, you see how it'll spread into a brownish colour, because red and blue make, correct, orange. I'm really joking. Makes brown. So anyway, just paint it over. You don't go too mad, because you don't want a bright blue eyeball, but you just want it like the veins to show up, and some of the darker areas, just to dirty them up a little bit. Just have fun with it. Just, there's no right and there's no wrong way to paint it. If you want to make it anatomically correct, carry on. Go and look at Bector Dickinson's Physiology and Anatomy. Good reference book. Look that up. Look up Google, whatever you want. Just have fun. So I'm going to call that painted. It's only quick, it's only dirty. So next up, we'll glaze with our 2-part epoxy. 2-part epoxy is only the cheap stuff. So I'm just going to squirt out a little bit. I'm trying to do this so I'm out of the way of the camera as well. You don't need a lot. Frankie's just joined us. I'm using an old knife. You can use a lollipop stick, anything you want. Mix them together. This stuff is only, I think it's 5 minutes setting anyway, so it's nice and quick. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop up a blob, get my eye, put him straight on top. Just build up a nice big blob on top to start with. And then hold him by the optic nerve and just smear that around. There's a crusty bit on it. Could have done with a little bit more really, but just smear them around. And then you can either leave it set as it is, or a little trick I found out, but you've got to be super careful, is with your hairdryer or your heat gun. If you put a little bit of heat onto the epoxy, it makes it thin out and run. So providing you're turning your eye and moving it, when you're putting a little bit of heat on it, but obviously not too much, because that's what happened with the one I just showed you that was deformed. I put a little bit too much on it and I melted the eyeball. So just spread him round, make sure you got a super thin coating. Doesn't have to be perfect again, it's a ripped out eye. So I think that's about it. A little bit there. Where are you? There you are. Right, so I'll just chuck a little bit of heat on there, nothing much. I got my heat gun set on low. That's all I'm going to do is that. And instantly you can see that that's starting to run a little bit. So I'm going to keep moving him round. Wait for him to run down and settle. And then I'll leave that dry 5-10 minutes. Come back and we can have a look at the finished thing. There you go. So that's one of each. That's the shop bought eyeball. You see it's nice and glossy. Still a little bit tacky. And then that's the one, the ping pong ball, that I just painted the iris on. And what I used then was I used a blue and a red fine line pen just to draw the little blood vessels on the ball. Again, epoxied, just the same as that. Only difference really is that's a sticker. I don't like these thick red lines, but I could paint it white and redo it. But so what do you think? Bit of fun. Last little project before the spooktacular. So hope you like it. Click all the good stuff. Have a happy Halloween. Hope you spook people and people spook you. Stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Peace out, people.